This video tour of the NROC EdReady software is going to walk you through logging into the course, entering your goal key, taking the diagnostic test, working in your study path, and taking the final tier test for a module. So before you actually start watching this video, what you need to do is click on the process of completing a tier handout in Canvas. If you will print this handout before you actually watch the video, it will make it a whole lot easier for you to understand, and also the steps going through the process of completing a tier. There's a lot of the same thing in the handout that I will be talking about on this video. So if you'll print it out, you can take notes on this process handout so that once you actually start working in the course, you'll be able to understand it a whole lot better. To log into the NROC EdReady software, you just click on the link to the NROC EdReady, and then you will click on the load link to NROC EdReady in a new window. This will automatically open up the software screen for you. You will not have to enter in a username or password. It will automatically redirect you to this particular page. If you've never worked in NROC EdReady, your dashboard page will be blank. It will only have the Enter a Key to Join Private Goals icon in the upper right. You will click on the icon and enter the goal key that your instructor sent to you in a Canvas email on the first day of class. Enter the key exactly as noted in that email, then click Submit. Once you click Submit, then this Transition Math Tier Goal will be added to your course. Then your goal will show on your dashboard page, as it does here. You can click on Go to Goal to open the study path page. This video is showing you what to do if you're starting and working in the Tier 1. If you're starting in Tier 2 or 3, you will need to enter the goal key first, then email your instructor before you start any work in EdReady. Your instructor will unlock the Tier 2 or 3 for you to start. Make sure you are starting with the correct tier and diagnostic test. You will note that this particular student has already started their Math Tier 1 study plan and taken their Tier 1 diagnostic test. After you take your diagnostic test, the units you should study and the topic status blocks will show on your screen. In the part 1 of the process of completing a tier handout, your first step was to take the diagnostic test. You will click on the Transition Math Tier 1 link and take the diagnostic test for this particular tier. There is no built-in calculator for EdReady for the test. It is not timed, but should take you about an hour to complete the test. You can use a scientific calculator and the formula sheet posted in Canvas for this test. Most of this material should be able to do without a calculator, but we're going to allow you to use one. Then you click on Start Test Now. You will need to work through the test questions. If you know how to do something, then enter an answer and click Submit. If you don't know how to do a particular problem, just go ahead and skip it. It is best that you skip a question so that once you get to the study path, you'll be able to study it. If you don't know how to do it, if you just randomly guess and submit and get it correct, then when you work through the study path, you will not study the material to learn the topic. You'll be testing on all topics in the tier when you take the unit test and the final test. One thing about this diagnostic test is once you skip a question, you can only go back to that question one time to try and answer it. I highly recommend that if you don't know how to do a particular problem, just go ahead and skip it. Once you have finished the diagnostic test, you will click on Save and close it, and it will grade. Once you have taken the test and submitted it, you will see your score at the top of the study page. So you can see that the student has taken the test and scored a 27. The score you make on the diagnostic test does not count for the class. EdReady will create a custom study path for the student based on what you got correct on the diagnostic test. So you will be able to tell what you need to study in the tier. You will see the topics are color-coded. Green means that you mastered a topic on the diagnostic test. Yellow means that you need review. Red means not ready. And clear or white means not accessed on the test. What you need to do now is click on the View Study Path at the bottom of the screen to open the unit topics you need to study. It will open the first unit in your topics with topics to study. This will be the part 2 of the process of completing a tier handout. You will work in your study path on the units and topics from the tier until you completed and mastered all topics to 100% target score. You will need to do this to follow the steps that is on the step 2 on your process of completing a tier handout. You will work down through all the topics that you need to review one topic at a time. You will click on the Learn button beside of a topic and work through the 6 options to study and review the material. Make sure that you read what each one of these 6 options are in your handout. The warm-up is not available for all topics, but it does review you on material that you have done in previous units or topics. The presentation is a video of the material. The worked examples are also a video worked out by an instructor. The topic text is what you will use as a textbook for the course. You will see that it has information explaining all the different things in a topic. I highly recommend that you read everything in this topic text. Take notes from it so that you should be able to, as you would in a regular class, and keep in your notebook for reference. The practice and review options will have you working problems like what will be on the unit test and the test for the topic and the final tier test. Once you've worked through all the options in the Learn button, then in the upper right of the page, you will click back to the Study Path button to return to the unit topic page you are working on. Now you're ready to test to see if you need to review the learned steps on the topic or can master the topic. Beside the Learn button is the Test button. The short topic test may only be 1 to 2 questions. If you master the test, then the topic will disappear from your study path and now show in a table in the upper right of Mastered Topics. Your target score will increase or decrease based on the topics you master in a unit. Once you have completed and mastered a topic, the topic will disappear from your screen. The next one will move up to the top of your study page. The topic block will change to green on the study path page. It will be the same way when you complete a whole unit. The unit will move into a table in the upper right of the screen showing units you have mastered or topics you have mastered based on which one you are working on. Once you have worked through and mastered all the unit topics in your tier, you have reached the required target score of 100% and be ready to start preparing to take the final tier test. This is part 3 in the process of completing a tier handout. After mastering the last unit in your tier, study all your unit notes and tests. Final tier tests include concepts or topics from all the units in the tier. If you want to review a topic more, you can go back into the unit and access the Learn tab for a topic. This is required. You will be required to redo the unit test for each unit in a tier and review any missed topic material back to the required 100% topic score as proof to show mastery immediately before being allowed to take the final test for a tier. The instructor will verify all unit tests have been redone before giving access to the final test for a tier. By redoing the unit test right before you take the final test will show if you need to review some of the material in a tier before you take one of your allowed attempts at the final test. If you take your first attempt at a final test and do not make the required score to pass, then you will have to do a new study path created by EdReady to a 100% target score and redo all the unit tests again before you can take the second and last allowed attempt at the final test in EdReady. If you will follow the directions in this video and in the process of completing a tier handout, you should be able to navigate around in EdReady without problems. If you have any questions about how to navigate in EdReady or work through the unit topics in a tier, you can email your instructor through the Canvas email or call your instructor during their office hours. Good luck in the course.